Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel.
Hello!
So today we're doing another Disneyland Paris memories, but from our second Disneyland Paris trip together.
Yeah, so if memory serves me correctly, then we've done memories of our trip when we went with your family. Mm-hmm. Have we done memories of the first ever Disney World trip as well?
I think so.
I think we did, and then we did one for our first ever trip to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
So it's a continuation in the saga.
So this is our second trip. So this was in January, I'm going to get this right, 2017?
18.
And we stayed at Hotel Cheyenne. And I think we went for like 4 or 5 days. I can't remember exactly how long we went for.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it was the first ever time we stayed at Hotel Cheyenne.
Yeah. So let's begin. So first favourite memory was that it was our first time ever using the Eurotunnel to get over to Disney.
Yeah, so we've never done the Eurostar, so we've never been on the train. We quite like driving over, or I quite like driving over, because I don't know, I feel like I'm sort of in a position where I'm like in charge of getting us there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a road trip.
Yeah, I love the road trip aspect. And the year before, we'd gone by the ferry.
Yeah.
We're going on a ferry. Always remember that from the vlogs. And then, we decided that we were going to try out the Eurotunnel because I think when we booked it, it was through Magic Breaks and it was included. It was free, wasn't it?
I think we got a free one.
Yeah.
So obviously the ferry is the cheapest option, but I just love taking the Eurotunnel because compared to the ferry, it was just so much quicker. I know the Eurostar is like super, super quick.
Yeah.
But compared to the ferry, I think the crossing of the Eurotunnel is about 25 minutes, half an hour?
It's about 30, 35, I think. Yeah.
And then the ferry was about 3 hours. So it's like a big difference. I love the road trip aspect. I remember packing up all our road trip snacks and we were just so excited to try something new. And then ever since then, we've always used the Eurotunnel because we love it so much, and we've also worked with them as well.
Yeah. Going back to the ferry, I think it was an hour and a half.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. but that would be 3 hours there and back.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was about an hour and a half. Yeah.
Hour and a half, sorry. It just felt longer. But yeah, so one of our favourite memories is going on the Eurotunnel for the first time because we've been on it so many times since.
Yeah, and it also meant that we could pack as much stuff as we wanted.
Yeah.
Well, that we could fit in the car.
Second favourite memory is checking into Hotel Cheyenne and seeing the room for the first time. We were so excited. It was the first time we'd ever stayed at a Disney hotel together. Yeah. I stayed in one when I was younger, but it was the first time that I'd ever stayed at Hotel Cheyenne. It had just had its new refurb, so it was all brand new.
We'd stayed at Davy Crockett Ranch.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I can't remember anything.
But this is the first time where we'd stayed really close to the park.
Yeah.
Compared to Davy Crockett Ranch, which was, I think that's why you don't associate it, because it's a little bit further and you've got to drive out a bit of a distance. And I think when we stayed at Davy Crockett, there was like loads of road work, so we had to go
it took a while.
Bit further. But Hotel Cheyenne was just like, what was it, like a 10 or 15 minute walk, and you were in the parks from Hotel Cheyenne. But I just love it there. But there is a memory I do have. We were actually booked to be in Santa Fe. And then, I don't know what happened, just it got changed, and then we ended up being booked into Hotel Cheyenne. And once I found out that it was like Toy Story and like cowboy and Woody themed.
It was also a little bit more expensive to stay at Hotel Cheyenne because I think we went for the best deal, which was Santa Fe, and then something happened where they booked us into Cheyenne by accident, but then they honoured what they had booked us in for, so we actually got a really good deal for Hotel Cheyenne.
Yeah, I
remember because we didn't pay any extra.
And because it was based on Toy Story, I was like, I'll stay there.
Yeah, and I'm so pleased we did because it has become one of our favourite hotels ever.
However, I remember I printed off the original confirmation because it said you're going to need confirmation to get past like the security gate or barrier, and I printed off the first initial confirmation that had Santa Fe on it. So immediately I was like panic stricken because I was like, I didn't print off the Hotel Cheyenne.
They're not going to let us in.
They're not going to let us in. But I mean, the guy was very, very friendly, very nice, and he let us go through once I explained the situation.
But I just remember walking into that room for the first time, seeing all of the amazing decor that they had, that boot lamp That just sticks out in my head. I was so blown away by everything. And I just remember how you were just sat on that chaise longue.
I love it. I love it.
And I remember we got all our little vouchers. They don't do this anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But we got all those paper vouchers for like breakfast, lunch and dinner. And we were just looking at them. I just remember being so excited.
Yeah, and then I remember getting the cards. And one of them Daisy, one of them was Donald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we picked them.
But yeah, I love Hotel Cheyenne, and I miss it so much.
Can't wait to go back one day.
The last few times we've stayed at Hotel Adagio, which is not like an actual Disney hotel, but
there is something special about a Disney hotel, especially the ones that are close to the park. That walk is just amazing. Like 15 minutes and you're in Disney Village.
And not even just the room, like the whole way that Hotel Cheyenne is set out with all the buildings, and it looks like you're in a western.
Yeah.
I love it.
So good. Our third favourite memory is that during this trip we found a little spot to watch the fireworks from, and I think we watched it from that spot twice that trip. And it was just as you enter Discoveryland, where they have the wait times, there's like a little like cave, I would call it, behind
behind the board that tells you the wait time. So.
And I remember it was actually quite busy, I think.
Well, we got there late.
We got there very late, I think. That was why. And we managed to find that little space. And then we watched the fireworks from there. And I remember people afterwards, because we let people know in the vlogs, they would message us saying, "We're in your spot for the fireworks." And it just became our little place to watch the fireworks from. It is a really good spot. The only downside is if someone stands right in front of the wakeboard, which sometimes happens, but if not, it's actually a really nice little spot to watch it from.
Yeah. I think we'd been on Star Tours, and then we were coming out and the fireworks were going off, and we were like, oh, well, where are we going to stand? And then we just found this little spot.
Yeah, and just whenever I walk past it now, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of that trip when we found that little spot. So next, number 4, is that we actually, Martyn filmed a proposal that trip. It was crazy. We were walking into Main Street. There was a man, a woman, and a young child. Can't remember if it was a girl or a boy.
It was a boy.
A little boy. And the guy went up to Martyn and asked, "Can you film us?"
Yeah, so I think it was in front of the castle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy came over and he said, I don't know why, I just got this feeling that I knew that he was going to propose. Yeah. As soon as he said, "Can you film me and my fiance?" Why would you film? Why would it be a film? But then Helena didn't quite get that.
I didn't twig on.
And Helena was like, "Are you sure you don't mean a photo?"
Because I think he was French. So there was kind of like a slight language barrier, and I thought he meant a photo.
Oh no.
But I didn't twig on quick enough. And he was like, no, video. So we were like, okay, video.
Yeah. So it was a film we wanted, and so once we sort of got that, and I was going to Helena, "No, it's a video. And I was like stood there with the camera, and then he got down on. Oh, I remember though, the little boy wanted to get into because he thought maybe it was going to be a photo
of the ball.
So, but then they had to like put him over to the side, and then then there was the proposal, and
it was lovely. It was so magical.
The boy was really happy.
Yeah, it was before Corona, so we gave them a big hug.
I remember this because I said I wanted on a t-shirt, Disney Magic. It was a hug, a handshake, and a high five.
Yeah, all 3. But it was so special. They were so thankful as well. So much pressure. I was like, oh no, this video has to be perfect. And I was, because obviously I was quite shocked as well. I was trying not to like make any loud noises because I was like, oh no, I don't want my voice to be like the main thing of the video. Just imagine like who's that random girl gasping. So I remember trying to stay really, really silent. But it was really magical, and then it was really weird because as I'd been walking up Main Street, I took a photo of the castle, and then at the end of the day we were looking back at our photos of the day, and they're actually in that photo, the back of them, and there's not very many people because it was extra magic hours, I believe, and you can see the man, woman and the little boy. they're like silhouettes as they're walking up to the castle, and I was like, oh, that's so magical.
Yeah.
And I recognised them because I think the woman had a blue coat, or there was something like quite distinctive about them.
Yeah.
So that is always going to be a special memory, and it's just crazy to think that we were there for that moment.
Wherever you are, we hope you're living your happily ever after.
Number 5. This is one of the funny memories. So Martyn had conquered Tower of Terror on our first ever trip to Disneyland Paris together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? In
it
July.
Was, yeah.
And then to start off the trip, we were like, we have to go big or go home. Martyn has to do Tower of Terror first, so that he's like in the mind frame of the ride.
Yeah, we'd only been on Tower of Terror once, I think,
Yeah.
on the previous trip. So we're like, yeah, let's go straight for it, because we know that you are fine with it now.
And I remember we didn't even go into Disneyland Park first. We went straight to Hollywood Studios, which is so weird. Not Hollywood Studios. Went straight into Disney Studios Park, which we don't tend to normally do.
Not on the first day.
We normally go to Disneyland Park, but we were like, we have to ride Tower of Terror. And then we got there and the line was so long and we had a reservation. So we were like, let's do Slinky Dog. So Go Big or Go Home turned into Slinky Dog. And it's just funny. I always remember that clip in the vlog. Because we were so certain we were going to do Tower of Terror.
Yeah. And like we didn't want to refilm anything or like, so we just thought it was quite funny. Yeah. And I was like... yeah, well, we better go home then, because we're starting with Slinky Dog.
But obviously, Slinky Dog has grown into like one of our most memorable favourite rides because of the catchphrase. And
it was great
funny
to start with like a giggle. Just love it.
Number 6 was a meet and greet. This is still, to this day, probably the scariest meet and greet we've ever done. And that is when we met Darth Vader. And I don't think I'd seen any Star Wars films before.
Had you not at that point? No.
Or maybe just one. Like, not many at all.
2018. I don't think you had, actually.
And we met Darth Vader and he was so scary. I remember we were waiting to come in and he comes into where everyone's waiting and like ushers the next people in.
Yeah.
But he's like dead silent.
He just comes in and yeah.
And then you can hear us in the video like, oh, and then actually the video cuts out. So I think we got too scared to actually film him when we got inside.
Well, I think at that point we didn't used to ask anybody to like hold the camera or anything.
No.
I mean, I still don't really, but I film at least going up.
Yeah, I think we got too scared.
I think we got too scared, yeah. Although my reaction was very much like when we went to Thorpe Park and there was like all this scary stuff happening and I'm trying to like remain cheery. And so like he comes out and I'm like, hello, Lord Vader. And then I think as we left, I was like, no, hope your plans go well.
But he was like so like straight faced, well, obviously he's got his huge mask on. But I remember we came out and I was like, I'm really scared, are you? And Mum was like, yep. It was like really terrifying.
But it just goes to show how perfect that costume design is.
It's very intimidating.
It just strikes fear into you. And like, that's why he's one of, if possibly not the greatest movie villain of all time.
And we've got a great photo as well that I love with him. So in at number 7 is a ride that Martyn went on for the first time this trip.
Yeah.
Oh no, ever. This trip.
Ever. Yeah.
So he conquered Tower of Terror in our July trip, but then in our second trip he conquered Hyperspace Mountain, which was Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain actually.
Yeah. I seem to do this. I can only conquer one ride at a time. On each trip.
So he'd been on Space Mountain in Walt Disney World, but obviously Hyperspace Mountain is a lot more intense. So you'd always been quite scared of it, and then you conquered it.
Yeah, well also my brother and his wife had been once, many years ago. I think it was when it wasn't the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
And he told me this story of his wife losing her glasses on the ride, and I was like, wow, that must mean it is intense. And so that stuck with me, and I think that's why I'm so scared of it, and the fact that it like shoots you off at the start. But went on it, I think I was quite calm going on it.
Yeah.
Because I think in my head I just thought it's the same as Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
You know, similar feeling. Was pretty nervous going on it the first time, but boy oh boy, It just...
It's now like your favourite ride.
It went straight to the top of my favourite rides list.
And I think when we went in that January trip, the queue times for Space Mountain were really quiet. And I think we just went like round and round quite a few times each time.
That first time we went on, it was 5 minutes, and then we go straight back round and go on it again. So, I mean, that goes to show how much I liked it after I'd been on it. But just everything about it. It's just the music that plays as you go around, the noises of you fighting the Empire.
I can't wait for that feeling of just waiting and then shooting.
And then the beginning bit where you're never quite sure when it's going to go. Because sometimes there's a voiceover and sometimes there isn't.
So number 8 is we bumped into Goofy and Pluto playing fetch.
Got my Goofy top on.
So we were I think we were heading round from Star Wars. It was around that area.
I think had we just come out of Cafe Hyperion?
Yeah, something like it was in Discoveryland.
Yeah.
And they were just running because normally at Disneyland Paris, they have like their set meet and greet place which everyone goes to, gets their photo. But they were just roaming.
Which seems so strange now.
Yeah, it seems strange now because obviously there was a big build-up of people. Yeah. But they were just messing around. They were like playing fetch. Goofy was throwing something for Pluto to fetch. And they were just being crazy.
Well, Pluto had the stick, and I think he was trying to get Goofy involved, but Goofy was just like, I think he had a drink.
He sat down at one point.
And he was like just sitting down, and he was like, oh.
But it was just really fun to see the characters like just roaming and like going about their like normal daily business.
Yeah.
It was just really fun, and they drew up a big crowd of people like laughing and joining in.
Yeah,
it was just one of my favourite memories of those characters.
Yeah, because they're actually living in the park.
Yeah. So the penultimate memory is when Martyn was picked out during Stitch Live. As the very, very, very bad man.
I was actually picked. So they take the photo just while you're waiting or while you've just sat down.
And I think we were one of the first people in as well.
And so I just sat down and you know, you don't always like have a smile. Like sometimes your face just drops while you're like waiting for stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when they took the photo. So I was known as the grumpy man.
Which, if you know Martyn, is like the complete opposite. He's always smiling. So it's really funny. But they were just like picking on him the whole time, calling him the very, very, very bad man.
Yeah, it was Martyn from Newcastle. It was such a good show.
It was the first time we'd ever done it, so we didn't even know what to expect. So the fact that Martyn got picked out just made it even better. And you always tend to get picked out for stuff like that.
I do. Like if we go to things like... The dungeons, yeah, anything like that. It's normally because I'm like, right at the back. So this was the opposite I was picked for.
Yeah. But they probably like saw you. Yeah. Like that they knew that you'd like be a good sport.
But it was really interactive. Sort of reminded me of the Monsters Inc. laughter one. Place, yeah. Which didn't I got picked for that as well, didn't I?
Yeah, you got picked to buy everyone churros. I never get picked.
You did. You got picked as the Rebel Spy once.
I got picked as the Rebel Spy once. You got picked as the Rebel Spy once when you were putting down your top.
I was putting my sunglasses on. It looked like I was pulling down my top.
You were like... And then our final favourite memory from that trip was visiting the Disneyland Hotel for the first time. As you will know from our vlogs, it's become like a staple of our trip now to have a look inside the Disneyland Hotel and to have a drink at Cafe Fantasia.
That's after Helena convinced me to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it took a little while, didn't it? So I was like, no, I want to go on all the rides again. We're like, no, it's okay.
But now we love it, and we didn't actually know if you were allowed to just go into the hotel and have a look around. We didn't know if you were allowed to just have a drink at the bar if you weren't staying there. So it was that trip that we discovered that you could. And
it was really Christmassy. We went in and the lobby, I think on all the other times we've been in, they've still got the barrier up around the gingerbread house and the Christmas tree. But that was down, so we were able to get really close up to the gingerbread house and the Christmas tree, and there was loads of Christmas decorations everywhere.
And it was the first time we'd ever seen the hotel, and we were just blown away.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, this is the best hotel ever.
Pan over to Helena, and Helena's like, I want to stay here.
Yeah. And then ever since then, we've always gone to Cafe Fantasia and had a cocktail, normally around 4 or 5 before the evening. But I just will always remember visiting there for the first time.
And then I was like, you get you get a beer cocktail, you got olives, and you got little nuts as well. Oh, sensational.
And I remember it was really quiet as well.
Yeah, it was really quiet.
So that was really nice.
During the day, it normally is. I think every time we've been, yeah.
Considering it's quite a small bar, there's normally only ever like 1 or 2 families in there as well.
Yeah, but it's such a nice ambience.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're really like a valued guest as well when you're in there.
And then we couldn't do this video without a bonus entry. We couldn't not include this. So bonus memory is using our hot hands for the first time ever.
Got your hot hands, baby, got your hot hands.
If you've watched our channel, you will know how much we love hot hands, and they have become a staple for our winter trips. But this was the first time we ever used them, and I remember in the vlogs we like speak about them so much.
We do. And then I think at one point I have to say, look, we're gonna have to stop talking about these hot hands. But originally we were like, they're not really doing much, because what you do is you take them out of the packet, you scrunch them up in your hand, and then they release this warmth that lasts for quite a long time. And at first we were like, they're not
doing
that
much.
hot. And then you'd maybe like take your gloves off and put them down while you ate, and then you put them back on, you'd be like, oh, so toasty.
But I remember thinking like, these are just the best creation ever. And then ever since then we've always had to bring hot hands with us if it's a winter trip. So
yeah.
I highly recommend hot hands.
Oh,
and you can also get hot feet.
So good. Yeah, hot feet. I want to try those actually, because my toesies do get a little bit chilly.
Well, hopefully if we can go in winter at the start of 2021, fingers crossed, we'll have to remember our hot hands.
We always just have a pack on standby.
Ready to go. But they're also really good for like, this has turned into like a hot hands commercial.
We're not sponsored.
No. But they're really good for like England as well. Like even if you're not on holiday, just if you're going on a walk, or
I wore them to Legoland.
Going to bonfire night, Legoland, theme parks. They're really good. So we had to include the bonus entry of hot hands. But I hope you enjoyed reminiscing with us. If you haven't seen those vlogs, they're all on the channel, but I will pop the playlist in the description box if you fancy checking it out. Also, if you've watched it before and you just fancy going back and watching it again, be our guest.
Be our guest.
It was actually really nice to look back and reminisce about it. I kind of feel like because it's a trip that's not our first trip but not our recent one, kind of gets a bit lost in the middle. So it was nice to actually think about it and think about what happened and reminisce about some of the funny times.
Yeah, and it's nice to look back on these memories while the parks aren't open.
Yeah, just a reminder about how special they were.
Also, we just wanted to say that we're heading into a new year. We're looking to create lots more videos. We want, of course, Disney to still be a part of that. And though we're not able at the moment to get over to the Disney parks for vlogs, we'd still love to produce Disney related videos. So if you do have any ideas at all, then pop them down in the comments for anything that you'd like to see, because we do love to get you involved and do some of your ideas. Yeah,
we want to make videos that you would like to watch, and Martyn already had some amazing suggestions from Instagram, so thank you so much if you message Martyn. But yeah, we're compiling a little list of Disney videos that we will film over the next few months. So yeah, let us know your suggestions. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in our next video, which will be the last video of 2020 on Thursday. Or is it already? No, that's Thursday, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see you on New Year's Eve for the last video of 2020. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you then. Bye!
Very quickly, I've also finished the script for the next brief history of a Disney attraction. So I will hopefully be getting that done very soon, and Helena will be a big part of it.
Well, you gotta call my agent. Bye guys.
Doodle Pipski.